for the warning. Hey, everybody.
Hold on. I just saw it confirm, like, yep, I'm done. We're good. Didn't think of the consequences of my actions. Go ahead.
The consequences being that I don't know what the heck's going on. Oh, I need to get the chats going.
I think I did. Oh, you mean on your tablet? Yeah.
What's up in the faces?
Should be good otherwise. Did I do that?
Yep.
Sure did. This is fine.
Hello. Is it fun?
No. Portia, what are you thinking? Oh, let me adjust the cat cam. I'll be doing a good sleep. He's so cute.
Oh yeah, Milo looks like he's having a pretty good nap over there. We've actually got the cat cam going today.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Well, the cats have been avoiding this area up here because it's been kind of warm. Hey, Rick, what's going on? How are you doing?
Hello.
Just getting everything rolling here.
Man, I love the Deathnote soundtrack. It's fantastic. Okay, let's get to actually drawing a dude.
Why is YouTube always trying to sell me premium?
Portia, why are you pecking at me? It's distracting. She's being crazy. She's burned out of the room. What's she
No,
doing?
she stopped before she left the room.
Good. Wait, Barry also man there?
Oh yeah, they just showed him today. I forgot to mention that to you.
I have heard nothing of this. What?
Barrioth
man,
is
I
one of
love
Sasha's.
Barrioth.
Yeah, he's one of her favorites. So he's the coolest, one of the coolest ice. I like Ice Ignactor. I really hope Ignactor is getting thrown in there.
Yeah, Ignactor would be a fun one, and he shares a skeleton with.
Hey Dave, what's going on? Not quite. Rick was here just a bit before you got here.
First one on Twitch.
Yeah, first on Twitch. I was about to say that.
What was I gonna say? Oh, he shares a skeleton with Lyciacris, I believe. They both do the ferret background.
Oh, you mean Ignactor?
Yeah. So if they put an Ignactor in, probably can expect Lyciacris. Oh, dang, that's too bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, weren't we just talking about your Twitch last week?
I love the Deathnote soundtrack so much. Oh my god. That's great.
Well, at least on Twitch, I mean, sometimes a clean slate can be a good thing. So, if you get bored at all, Dave, on Twitch, there's a couple of mini games down there underneath the chat. There's like we've got
Alien Milo.
Yeah, we've got Robo Milo, and a dungeon game.
Oh, can you hand me my phone? I forgot to get references together. Not that anyone needs a reference to draw light. I mean, just draw some Banana Republic model. I can't speak. Banana Republic model, good to go.
Banana Republic.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe Abercrombie and Fitch, I don't know.
They've actually been closing down some Banana Republics this year.
I know nothing of this store.
That's how, I mean, I can't say that I can't bring myself to spend that much money on clothes, but I'm surprised that even groups like Banana Republic are taking shots from, it just goes to show that all the brick and mortar stores are in danger from e-commerce.
This has nothing to do with anything. Look at this picture. That's some incredible art. Okay, let's find something new down. Get up.
Yeah, Twitch seems to change almost monthly lately, Dave. They're actually, I hate to say it, but, well, it's the truth. YouTube, as far as live streaming, is like so far behind. Like you could tell if you ever switch between YouTube And even the new one, Mixer from Microsoft and Twitch, man, huge worlds of difference. You got your latency is completely different. Like on Twitch, from what we hear, it's almost a 1-to-1 ratio. Like, pretty much we're having an actual person-to-person conversation as far as the latency is concerned. And then you've just got so many other tools. Like, you have all the fun mini games you can add. There's the emoji stuff. There's all kinds of tools that you can use on the other streaming services.
There's a picture of Light licking the side of the Deathnote. He's need to get a paper cut.
That's that's fan art for you.
That not only would that taste bad, but
Well,
he's gonna injure himself.
Let me slow you down there, hotshot. Now that you've Googled something and
This
you're
is Pinterest.
scrolling down, oh God, even worse. If you're on Pinterest and
Pinterest
you're
is
scrolling
worse.
down, it's only a matter of a few swipes of the finger before you get into dangerous territory.
You're right.
That fan art's gonna get real NSFW real quick.
Now he's eating the Deathnote.
He's gonna have a Death Note for dinner.
And that escalated quickly. Doki. Dokiest of Dokies.
Oh yeah, that's why I recommended it to you, Dave. Everyone loots the Death Note though.
Really?
I never thought of Light as like one of those just fantastic looking characters. He looks
No.
really normal.
He is vanilla as they get.
But I think that was the point. They wanted you to see Light as being just like an everyday dude, like to kind of see like it puts emphasis on that, you know, the quiet one sort of thing. Oh, the Velcana armor? Sorry, Rick, I just noticed your comment. It's been up there for a minute too, I think. Let me see. Oh, they showed the Velcana armor? I haven't seen it yet. I actually want to see it.
So far, the gears look really nice.
Is it spiky? I need to take a look at it. I like spiky armor. That's the kid in me talking. I like lots of spikes, and I like fur. Like the new Bonboro gear that makes you look like a dwarf with the big beard and the antlers and the huge fur around the shoulders is like awesome. And I love that gear.
It's not like though.
All of a sudden, Sasha, she's supposed to be finding references for Light Yagami here, and she's showing me stuff for My Hero Academia. It's like,
I don't know. It's here, and it's cool.
Pinterest is dangerous. It's a
Yeah.
big rabbit hole for everything illustrated. Get to work.
Trying to find something like he's not really an athletic kind of person, so like,
He's not an athletic kind of person. You remember anytime it came down to like, well, I don't know, he wasn't all that bad. You remember when he and Elle were cuffed together? They had some confrontations.
I mean, I think Elle just kicked him in the face, but I mean they played tennis once. I think Light lost, though I don't remember.
Yeah.
Man, Light's a preppy dude. Plays tennis. Who does that?
I mean, I wouldn't do it pro, but I'm
Tennis is fine. I have nothing.
I
wrong
like
with
tennis. You know, back when
nothing
my legs
against
could handle it. I love tennis. And it tends to make a pretty fun game. Like Mario Tennis is cool. I've never played like any of the like esport style tennis games, but I mean they always looked interesting.
What's this?
Wii Tennis was cool.
I don't know what this is, but it's the artist from Deathnote, and it looks really cool. He should probably like be holding a book.
So where's Ragnar? He's the one that made this request.
Yeah, and he requested it a long time ago. Not bad.
I'm gonna have to go find him and drag Ragnar back into the chat room.
Dragna Ragna? Draga Ragna?
Draga Ragnar?
That's what I was asking about.
Rada
I can't
Rada
remember
Rada.
his name.
Sasha's gonna get drawn here soon, I promise you guys.
Yeah, I just don't know what to do for a pose.
Draw the Deathnote first, and then draw Light around it. Just draw him around it, like as if Light were the stationery for the Deathnote.
What, like put him on some lined paper?
Instead of writing Light's name into it, someone drew him in. Just in case the gods don't realize
Like
who
this?
Light Yagami really is, we're gonna illustrate him as well as putting his name in the book.
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think
I'm
that's
sure
what we're
he's.
doing.
I'm sure he's kicking the bucket as we speak. Oh wait.
Maybe someone hasn't seen it yet.
I always like this song.
I like all of them. They're all wonderful. Oh my god. Okay, let's see.
So Rick, what have you been playing in the meantime while you're waiting for Monster Hunter? You've just been digging into Monster Hunter, or you picked up anything else? Oh, welcome back, Dave. Hope everything's all right in the kitchen. The kitchen can be, it's the most dangerous place in the house.
There was a dude at work that dropped a knife. Somehow cut his foot. How do you manage that? I guess most people are barefoot in their own kitchen, but like.
Oh. Oh, so them cheese sticks got ready, but you didn't have the means to get them out.
Oh no. That's always the worst.
Yeah, I've been there a number of times. Anytime I put anything in the oven, it's kind of a roll of the dice.
At least we've got like 30 oven minutes. That's probably why.
What is this wheel that's up on the screen?
Wheel? Oh, I don't know.
See that wheel there?
Must have hit a button. There we go. Sorry about that. I didn't realize that was there. It wasn't even showing up on the tablet.
I don't know if it was showing up in the stream. I'm being lazy and not getting it up in time. Hey, we've got a head shape.
Something like that, yeah.
Monster Jam Steel Titans. All right. I was wondering if anyone had played, if they were playing that one. Everyone's freaking out over Mortal Kombat. That was a real pointy chin. Like, good lord.
I jacked it. Should have on this side. Should have just left it alone.
I actually really like to watch fighting games, but I'm pretty bad at them myself, so the only fighting games I've ever been able to actually get into are Guilty Gear, any by Axis, Arc System Works, Blaze Blue, Guilty Gear, those kind of games are really the only ones I've ever been able to actually get decent at. Pretty much everything else out there I'm bad at, but I do like watching them. Like Mortal Kombat is actually a really fun game to watch because they make everything so cinematic. Actually, there were two fighting games in the past that I adored, and I really wish they would revisit them. Bushido Blade Loved Bushido Blade. Man, it was a revolutionary game for its time. And Bloody Roar, another, in my opinion, revolutionary fighting style. Freaking love Bloody Roar. I wish they would bring it back. Hudson Soft is still out there doing work, but I don't know if we'd ever see another Bloody Roar. Ooh, Ultraman Taiga. I heard about that one. Yeah, I love Ultraman. I grew up on Ultraman. Of course, Power Rangers. Power Rangers were okay, but I actually preferred Kamen Rider, Ultraman, and Virtual Troopers. Oh, yeah, Persona Arena Ultimax, I think is what you mean, Dave. That one was really good, too. Hey, Dave, I know the feeling. My dad was a real stickler for what I watched. He actually pretty much didn't let me watch things on TV. He was really against TV, video games, and all that. He's a Marine. So I always went over to my friend's place, and my mom would not let me watch. If she would let me watch stuff when Dad wasn't around, like if he's deployed or something. But she would not let me watch like The Simpsons, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and a few other things. I can't remember all of them at the moment. But yeah, I know the feel of that right there. I would just go to a friend's house and watch it though. You could make his "gonna kill you" face. I'm gonna write your name in my book face.
Oh, like that face? That's creepy though. Hell knows, two nose, expressionless, and freaking weird.
No problem, Dave.
At least you got your priorities straight. You gotta eat them while they're still like stringy and delicious.
While they're molten lava.
Yeah. It's the only way to eat cheese sticks.
Ever really burned yourself, guys, with like cheese sticks or any kind of a microwave or oven-born, quick heating, consumable type of food? Oh yeah, Rick. The old Grid Band show was great. I actually really enjoyed Trigger's most recent tribute to it. SSSS Gridman? 4 S's.
How many S's?
Gridman. I'm a big sucker for anything with kaiju. Super robots, giant robots, that kind of stuff. Went to go see the new Godzilla. And I gotta say, I'm liking the direction that Hollywood is finally taking with it. I don't know.
Beautiful.
I don't know why it took Hollywood just so long to figure it out. Like, oh, we're just gonna take creative liberties out the wazoo to the point of where it's not even Godzilla anymore. They're finally doing it right. Can't wait for Godzilla vs. Kong. Yeah, Ragnar needs to get in here. He's missing pickle time. Yeah, spiky kaiju are the best. When I was a kid, my favorite ones were Anguirus and Gigan.
Ghidorah forever.
Ghidorah is cool, but I mean,
Nothing.
he's like the big villain. I don't know. I always like the underdogs. Although, I will go mainstream villain when it comes to Destroya and Biolante. I love those two. Biolante and Destroya are just great.
I just think he's the perfect dragon design. Like those wings and like the shape of his head, how it's neck-like, but with the cool horns. Just, he's perfect.
He's a big golden lightning rod. God help Godzilla if they ever gave him arms. Spacegodzilla was great. With the really huge crystals on his back and the even more defined and larger spikes along his spine and tail. Oh yeah, nothing beats a nice day off, Dave. Did you get around to anything interesting, or were you just chilling the whole day? I can actually enjoy this song again. Sasha used to have this song as her ringtone, but it was for her alarm in the morning. So every morning I would be forced to wake up to this song, and it get to the point where I was like, I can't stand it.
It's a good song.
She took it off of her alarm a couple years ago, so I think I'm finally at the point where I can sit and enjoy it again. I had to recover.
This is the Final Fantasy VII battle theme now.
Oh, you're taking singing lessons. That's really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
That can be exhausting.
Yeah. It's fun though.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like when you think about, like if I were to, if you haven't done it before and you think, man, I bet singing lessons would be easy. It's my body. I know it better than anyone. But then you actually get in there and they start having you run the exercises, like you said, the screaming, the notes and everything. And all of a sudden it's like, I don't have any idea what my body can do. And then belting out all those notes and everything, all the bars, figuring out what you can do. You're just sitting there basically running your lungs ragged the whole time. Yeah. Even better if they have you doing some tongue twisters to practice and warm up. Yeah, it's funny how things like that will happen in life. I remember so many times, pretty much anything I've ever said I wouldn't have any interest in, or if I ever say never to anything, it's like almost guaranteeing I'll end up doing it. So many times did I claim never this or never that or nah, and then what happens? Like within a year or two. Yeah, it's life. Well, hey, that's really cool to hear. It's best to, I mean, if you can roll with the punches, you'll find that honestly, uh, those punches will swing your head into a direction where you can see something you never saw before. Just because you weren't looking there. Turns out it was a better direction for you the whole time. Oh, yeah, for sure. It's definitely smart to say no to things that you know are not going to be good for you, but I mean, most of the time you don't know. So I wouldn't say no. Yeah, that's something well, I gotta I gotta admit, when I was younger, I did have a period in life. I had a phase where all my friends, everyone I knew, it seemed like they were wanting to try, or they were addicted to something, and I was just running the clean, the straight and narrow, and I had a point where for some reason I was just so bored, I decided to try and find an addiction. So I did go and try quite a lot of things, but I've never been one to actually get into any kind of substance. I mean, I'll try it. Well, not anymore. I would try it, but I would never get the point of it. Just wouldn't do it for me, or I would not be able to understand how people could get addicted to it, because it would usually end up badly for me. I respond pretty rough to a lot of that kind of stuff, so I tried a lot of things though, and I wish I would have replaced all that with acrobatics. Acrobatics or scholastics? Could have used some scholastics. Yeah, that's how Sasha is, Dave. She's had a few instances where she's drank and she doesn't get anything except for the
I'd lose my coordination.
yeah, she loses her coordination, but not really any of the good feelings or anything. I did have a rough patch when I was younger, though, where I was right after my dad passed away, and suddenly life kind of fell apart. The whole becoming a Marine thing and all that didn't pan out and all that, and then suddenly I was the breadwinner for the household, and had to give up school so I could go to work and all that. Yeah, I picked up drinking for a bit to get through that. Been clean for a long time now, though. I actually really like the taste of alcohol, but I gotta say, I always like the tougher stuff, like the rum and vodka were my thing, but the last time I had a drink was when we were in Japan, and it wasn't even what you'd really call a drink.
That stuff is barely alcoholic.
Yeah.
Instead of plum wine stuff, it's like pretty sweet and like really refreshing because it's made with those like the green plums.
Yeah, they had a plum wine that they actually made there at the hot springs, and we just had to try it. We were just sitting at the bar. It was just Sasha and I. Nice late at night, right before it was about to close, after we'd been in the hot spring, and it seemed like a cool drink was just gonna be just what we needed. And yeah, that wine in the corner, you just see it in the corner, their big jar full of plums, and yeah, we tried it. It was great. I think I like the sweeter stuff. Ah, gummy worms. You and Sash got quite a bit in common then, because gummy worms are one of her favorites too.
Yep.
I love myself some gummy worms. I used to be something of a gummy connoisseur. When I worked at a mall here in Dallas, I worked at a GameStop there for a good number of years, and there was a candy store that specialized in gummy stuff. So I would always go over there, and they would give you samples. So every day I would go sample something new, and after like a year and a half, like they would get imports from like Germany and Italy and everything, and it was just crazy how they could make them all taste so different. Trolley sour worms. Do you eat those?
I do. I usually prefer the like not sour ones, but I like the sour ones too. I think it's mainly the texture that I like about gummies.
Yeah, I like the way they look. Like, I gotta say, like, I like a lot of food. Like, I like to look at food. I think looking at food is almost as satisfying as tasting it and eating it in a lot of cases. And candy is just really fun to look at. It's one of those things, it's almost like looking at art that you can interact with. And gummies are like really top tier. Sour Patch Kids?
Oh yeah, those are good.
Yeah, I like sour. I gotta say, I'm more in the sweet realm as far as candy, but when it comes to like sour. Pickles, of course. Although these are kind of sweet. These are still those barrel ones. Oh yeah, the worms that have... Most of the gummy worms now have faces. They didn't have faces when I was really, really young. They just look like worms. It's like now all of a sudden they want them to have expressions. It's like... I kind of felt bad eating gummy bears that had faces. I mean, well... Not gonna lie, when I was a kid, I used to go for those gummy bear heads right off. Rawr. The new worms look like they're hiding sadness. Yeah, I could see that. Because they know it's like, my only purpose is to get eaten. And it's probably going to be this face that goes first. Man, I used to love, like, the gummy sharks were one of my favorites. When we were in Japan, there were gummy, like, everything you can think of. Like, I swear, it was like an art over there. Yeah, pretty much. How about the gummy, what is it, the company Haribo, I'm pretty sure it's like a German company. They do some of the best gummies. I love the gummy pop bottles that look like Coca-Cola bottles and they taste like Coca-Cola. I love candy that tastes like sodas. I actually really like soda. It's an unfortunate weakness I have. But
I used to be addicted to Mountain Dew, but I haven't had soda in years.
I've seen those giant gummies. There was actually a candy store in New York I went to that had a gummy. It was like a gummy. I'm trying to remember what it was. It's been years. Is it a fish? I think it was like a big goldfish, but this thing was like seriously like 3 feet long, like a foot wide, and it actually stood up about 5 inches. This thing was like, I don't know, it was like $100 for it. And they had a challenge where if you could eat the whole thing, you'd get it for free, and then they give you some kind of prize too. It was one of the first food challenges I'd ever seen. But I think it was like a solid, like, 8 or 9 pounds of gummy. Uh-oh, it's just on his belly.
Oh.
We've got Milo Belly in the cam now. He just looks so like, whatever. I don't care. Oh, he left.
Aww.
Milo, you were supposed to stay there all night, buddy.
What have you got to do?
He's an old...
Oh, goodbye.
He's an old cat that... Oh, you got rid of us.
There we go.
He's gonna go sit in the middle of the room behind us now.
Why, Milo? Buddy.
It looks like you've got phantom hair
Oh,
around him.
What? Phantom?
He's got this ghost hair around him. Like he's lost all of his hair except for a few strands here and there. He kind of looks like a ghoul from Fallout. Well, if a ghoul was able to keep a pretty face.
The artist for Deathnote does like all this swirly, like all the hair is going in different directions. If someone actually had their hair like this, it'd probably look ridiculous.
It's a hair explosion. Well, I don't know about that. I think you should look at it like layers. It's like layers. Like do a layer, see if in that picture right there. If you did like the bottom layer going left, and then do the middle layer going straight down, and then the top layer doing that hard left. His hair is doing that hard left.
He's got too much volume on this side.
We're just gonna delete all your hair, Mr. Yagami. Yagami.
Yagami.
I'm letting the Texan take the wheel as far as pronunciation. She throwing that there light Yagami. Light Yagami. I heard he was something of an author. He's good at writing stuff down. You think he'd like to work for the paper? Light does one article, one headline, everyone in the city dies. He literally writes the obituaries for the next day. You imagine that if Light did obituaries, it would be like a horoscope instead of an obituary. You can look forward to dying next week. No, it's like a weather report, actually. The character designer for Deathnote, in my opinion, they gave everyone kind of a strong, like, 90s look.
90s?
Actually, well, crap. Deathnote came... No, it didn't come out in the 90s, did it?
I don't think so.
It was like early 2000s. Like 2001, 2002, somewhere in that area.
It may have been later than that, but I don't know when it came out in Japan.
Oh, they're bringing back old Tiger Rex, huh? The ones I've got for him, I've got the Figma. I've got the 3 Figma variants. His regular one, the Molten, and then the Brute. I do not have the creator's model, though. Dang, so they're doing a rerun on that one now too, huh? So they must be rerunning the entire series, because they just reran Rathian and Rathalos last year. And I think they reran Legiacris too. Although if I remember correctly, Legiacris came after Tigrex. Yeah, because Legiacris was really expensive for a while. Yeah, I order from amiyami.com all the time, and I don't know if you order from them, Dave, but their point program is actually really, really great. Every yen spent is a point, and so those points add up. You can actually get a lot of discount really fast. Given the popularity of Monster Hunter now, I wouldn't be surprised if they just went ahead and reran all the lines. Like, they could come out with the Figmas, they could bring out, like, you remember, Figmas, they had a lot of stuff for Monster Hunter. They had the Rathalos, they had the Zenogre, they had Zenogre, the Hunters, I mean, those were really nice, and they had a Legiacris one, too, that was really cool, but that one wasn't Figma, that was, I can't remember who did the Legiacris one. Yeah, the Revoltech. Yeah, they were Revoltech Yamaguchi. They were some of the first ones to utilize the new joints that they came out with. Those really, really good joints. I can't remember what they're called, but the technology, the design of them is actually really, really good. I think the first ones to actually have those joints were the Monster Hunter ones, and then the Zone of the Enders. There was the canon version of Jehudi and Anubis. Yeah, I mean, generally I prefer the standalone one-piece kind of statues rather than the actual figures. I don't think they can get quite as much detail with the figures because they're so small. I really like when they're just one-piece statue that they've actually sculpted. The Revoltechs are really fun to pose, though. They're kind of like the Bring Arts that Square Enix has. It might have been, Dave. I haven't looked at it since we talked about it last. I don't see why they wouldn't advertise it on the website, though. Like, the website seems really vague. It's supposed to be a Capcom Store exclusive, and it's only it's $89.99, which is right around what usually the creator models are. But the later creator models, like the more recent ones, have been around like $110-ish, $100, like $110, somewhere in there. Yeah, I mean, creator's model, like anyone who's actually collected anything Monster Hunter knows, creator's models are the way to go. They're the best. Those and the figure builders, the little ones. So I would think they would advertise it. I'm wondering if they got someone new to do these figures. I would hope not, though, because I love creators models. Yeah, it does. They were talking about the dimensions on it, though. The dimensions, it only comes to like 9 inches tall, and that strikes me as really quite small for a creator's model. I mean, I can see my creator's models from here, and Rathalos and Rathian are pretty small. They're about 10 inches tall. So I guess they could. But if you look at the bigger ones like Teostra or Kirin or even Mizutsune and Valstrax back there are really big. But yeah, it does have that same Kushala. The Kushala one's pretty big too. Yeah, it does have that same stance where he's standing the same way. I'm willing to bet. I'm wondering. I think Velkhana is actually going to share a skeleton with Kushala, to be honest. When it comes to the combat style, it just seems a little bit too similar to Kush. I'm hoping they come out with a whole new skeleton, just for the gameplay's sake, but I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that because in Monster Hunter World, they've really kind of undercut they've underplayed Kushala Daora. He's not very strong. Like, he's not an intimidating force like he was in the past. So maybe they were kind of projecting that Velkhana would be the way he is. I'd say, though, make a whole new skeleton, and instead of giving us having Velkhana be a reskin, you know, if they want to make a stronger Kush, then give us Rusted. But I'll trust their decision making. I've been happy with Monster Hunter World so far, so. I'm really hoping the Clutch Claw doesn't just trivialize the game, though, because from what we were playing in the beta, the Clutch Claw, if used correctly, the iframes on the Clutch Claw are pretty ridiculous. I meant to actually test to see if it was affected by the other moves that increase iframes, but it probably isn't because it's not considered an evasion. Well, it might be. I really, really hope they bring Ignactor, though. What were you saying?
Somehow screwed up. Erased through his face, but I don't know when it happened.
Oh, I remember you were erasing some hair earlier, I think. Yeah, the Leviathan. You would think it would be because of you remember they had all those leaks a while back of Lagiacrus possibly being in World, and it was there was actual concept and test gameplay. To be honest, I wouldn't mind if they brought back underwater fighting, though. I always enjoyed it. I mean, it was a little bit disorienting to get used to at first, but after I got used to it, I enjoyed fighting underwater. There's a few other monsters I'd be pretty stoked if they brought back. Hapuru Baruku. What was his English name? Nibblesnarf.
Oh, Hapuru.
Yeah. Hapuru Barukuku? Yeah, something like that. Volvodon. Yeah, the environment is much more much more of a thing in World. Legia Chris, though, I mean, he was one of the more fun fights. And his variants were really cool. Ivory was pretty sweet. Abyssal was awesome. I loved fighting Abyssal. Oh, speaking of which, creators models, so if they're actually doing reruns on all of these, I wonder if that means we're going to be getting around to Rajang and Zenogre again. Because Zenogre was actually a fan favorite, like big time. I don't see how he hasn't been introduced in the world already. Oh, you're right. Actually, yeah, you're right. I forgot. The Zenogre I got is a rerun. I've got Rajang. He actually had a really weird run. Like, Rajang was available on a lot of sites. Like, it seemed like they overproduced him a little. Because I was able to get him for like $50. Maybe 40. Like, it was really, really... Probably the cheapest creator's model I've ever gotten was Rajang. Yeah, I'm thinking they must have overproduced him. Maybe they overestimated his popularity. Yeah, I actually was on the fence about him because of the price for so long. I was worried, like, I was actually worried that there was just like a flood of counterfeits, to be honest, because the price was so low. I'd never seen one that low, and I was like, what's wrong with it? You know what monster in the whole series? There's a couple of them, but what the two biggest ones that I think are the most underrepresented in the entire series would have to be Yamasukami and what's his name? I just had it. I was just thinking about it. How the heck did I forget it that quick? I'll remember it here in a second. Yeah, Nargacuga seems like he would be a dead ringer for the creator builders. Or the creators models. I'm mixing the two series up. I mean, all you gotta do, you could throw in like a tree trunk, put him on that, and boom, you're done. There, you actually, that's the one I couldn't remember, Dave, was Dire Morales. I think Yamasukami and Dire Morales are the most underrated monsters in the whole series. Because he's one of the Fatalis monsters, but like no one seems to care about him. Everyone when you mention the Fatalis, it's always like, oh, white or red are always the big ones. I always preferred black, to be honest, until Dire Morales. Yeah, the water combat.
Kind of miss the water combat.
Well, Dire Morales was actually he was honestly a pretty easy fight. He was pretty negligible as far as. He was the easiest of the Fatalists, I think. But, he looked cool. Like, man, he looked like he's like a giant lava cobra. But one of his biggest problems was, I mean, he was slow, and you could get him stuck transitioning between water and beach, water and beach. But also, he was one of those monsters that, kind of like Uragon, had too many breakable parts. So you could actually, he spent a lot of his time being wounded, and he had hard wounds. Like whenever you would break one of his fireball sections, like he would stagger for a good 8 or so seconds. And if you got 4 hunters on him, man, that's over. He's gonna die quick. Being a gun lance and lance main, Dave, his chest was almost always my target. Everyone else would be working on the rest of him, and his claws and his chest were like my primary targets all the time. Although on lance, you know, lance underwater can break pretty much whatever it pleases because you're a torpedo. But yeah, I love Dire Morales. Amaterasu doesn't really get too much notoriety either. He had a figure builder. I think that's about it though. Yeah, Lance Underwater was my favorite. Just so much mobility. It's like you just, by the time the monster gets a bead on you, you're already zooming past, you know, shattering parts elsewhere. Yeah, the weapons that I always thought flowed the best underwater were Lance, of course. Greatsword, I thought was really nice underwater. And Hammer. Because their combat modes, their combat styles are already so circular in motion, the way they naturally flow, that it was just perfect underwater. I think Yamasukami would make for a really cool creator's model. Like, they could even have like a small section of the tower, like right there, like around him. You could have him in the middle, and you could take like your Revoltech hunters and put them there fighting him. You could do some pretty cool poses with him, I think. Man, a Connecticut's diorama with him would probably be huge. They'd probably have him in like a pose where like one of the things where he's spinning or where he's slamming his tentacles down, and probably have like huge like areas that look like they're getting broken around his tentacles. Yeah, those Connecticut's, I would so love to actually collect those, but that's collecting on a whole nother level. That's so much money. I've watched my fair share of unboxings for them, and you know, you watch those, usually you see these guys that have like huge libraries of like $1,000, $2,000 figures all over the place. You can't help but wonder, what do you even do for a living to have all these figures? But that's just me being jealous because they get to buy the toys that I want.
Yeah, we'd buy more if we could.
$1 a week, you'll be able to buy one by the time pre-orders are up. Looking forward to 2050. Yeah, I've made a few big purchases like that. Actually, one of the bigger ones that I've got right now would have to be the Metal Gear Ray A3 or 3A. Trying to think of any other big ones I've got. I've got a few of those from. Is it A3 or 3A? How can I not remember my companies? I'm such a bad fanboy. Oh, yeah. I used to get into a lot of swords. So you must know about that one new company. They do. Oh yeah, Kit Ray. I have Kit Ray's entire first 3 lines of weapons from the 1990s, like the Sword of Earth, the Sword of Fire, the Sword of Darkness. The axes, like I've got a lot of his original works. The ones that you used to order. Do they still come with posters? Like I remember you would order them, and he would send you. He would have artwork to come with it though that showed his characters wielding the weapons, and there's just awesome stuff. Yeah, I love Kit Ray stuff. It's funny though. I'm sure you've noticed this. Like if you ever go to like a flea market, or you see a lot of movies or something, that you'll actually see his Kit Ray designs in like all sorts of stuff, like ripped off. Like everyone and their brother, when they do fantasy stuff, like his designs are everywhere. Just like people just rip them off. Oh, he's actually in your Facebook group? I would have to check that out. What's it called? Although I gotta admit, I'm like next to completely absent on Facebook. Okay, I thought that was Halo for a second. Kit Ray, Swords of the Ancients, United Cutlery, and other songs. Alright, I'll have to look for that one. Yeah, I'll have to look for that one and get into it, because, man, I haven't actually bought a Kit Ray sword in a long, long time. Oh, so they do some buying and selling through the group? Sweet, I'll have to check it out. I love looking at collectors' pictures of other people's collections. I love seeing the love that people put into organizing things and setting it up, making it look interesting, that sort of thing. I think it's because I have a lot of stuff that I've collected over the years and don't have the space for it just yet. So unfortunately, I have what I call the archive. It's this big climate-controlled storage that has... It's a ton of stuff, boxed and sealed away, waiting for the day that I have the room to display. That's too much rhyming. There is a group, I'm trying to remember the name of them. There's actually a group where you can order extremely high-end, like way out of my price range, swords. They're getting popular lately, but they've done like the Sword of Light, Cloud's Buster Sword, Titus's sword from Final Fantasy X. Windlass? I don't think so. They've done a whole bunch of like video game swords, and they are fantastic. What it is you can actually go on the website. I'll have to find it. When I get it, I'll give it to you. You go there and you can tell them what your budget is, what materials you would like to use, how big you want the weapons to be. If you want to be full size, half replicas, everything down to, you know, letter opener size pretty much. And they are completely custom. And they come in these really nice, they ship everything out in these, if you get a full size, one guy took pictures of his gunblade. You got Squall's gunblade and Cloud's Buster Sword. They come in full steel cases with padding on the inside, and they look gorgeous. You can have them all sorts of materials, from high-end plastics, aluminums, to actual wrought steel, iron. You choose it, and then you build a budget with them. Yeah, they're not the licensed one. But man, they're really gaining steam online. A lot of people have really been loving them, but some of them are incredibly expensive. Like, I think there's a couple of them. I think there's a couple swords they've actually made to customer specifications that were like $20,000. But that's because they'll use any metal. They'll use any design. Huh? What am I doing?
You hold that.
Oh.
Like, nice.
I'm a hand model now, all of a sudden, just so you know.
I can't find a good reference, and I can't draw hands.
So now I'm Light Yagami, and instead of a Deathnote, I'm holding
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect Andromeda. Okay.
Hold it.
Up here. Okay. It's not Mass Effect Andromeda, it's actually the Deathnote. It was the Deathnote from Mass Effect. I hope not. I mean, after they fixed a lot of things, I heard Mass Effect Andromeda was actually a pretty decent game. I hope it's not a dead series. I love Mass Effect. Yeah, Deathnote with EA. You have Deathnote and EA in there. What should I do? I'm not, you know I'm not a good model.
Just don't move.
Okay, sorry. Don't hurt me. I don't know if there's gonna be much salvaging Anthem. And that's coming from me. I did my best to support Anthem. I really wanted Anthem to be great. I was on the hype train from when they announced it. It grew even more when they were saying, oh, there won't be loot boxes, guys. Oh, there won't be pay-to-win stuff, guys. And then they had the 90-day roadmap and all that stuff, and it's a great game. I love playing Anthem. It is so much fun to play, but there's just so little of it to play. Yeah, if they could pull off a Final Fantasy XIV or even a comeback on the level of like No Man's Sky, yeah, that roadmap is gone. I'm kind of glad I didn't continue covering the game. It took me a lot to actually convince myself. Everyone around me was like, "No, this game's done for, Roy. You shouldn't put any time or effort into it. You know, it's not gonna go anywhere." And I fought it, and then, sure enough, EA happened, like always. But I'm really hoping they come up with some kind of a plan and make a comeback. Like you said, Final Fantasy XIV completely turned itself around. Went from being the worst MMO on the market to now it's the best one, or the most popular at least. And then let's see, No Man's Sky, really huge comeback there. And No Man's Sky is actually probably, they actually had the radio silence the same way Anthem's been doing, or was doing. You know, they went quiet for like a month and a half, and everyone was just kind of boiling about it. They just need to get Sean Murray over there. I heard if you don't like to draw fingernails, you can just do hearts, like rough heart shapes, and it looks like fingernails.
What?
No. Would it be better if I opened it? Like, is his Deathnote gonna be open? No. No, we're not gonna do any 3D pictures around here.
Square, we're done.
I'm pretty sure they will. Udon's who's been doing it. But those art books are really nice. Like, I wish more art books were like the Monster Hunter art books. I love the landscape. The landscape format of them is just so nice, and the foil cover and everything looks bad.
Huge, so much stuff. I think that was just season 1, because season 2 had a whole different set of music for all the new characters. Do you have the controller?
It's coming up with something else. We could always see what that's about.
Oh.
Yeah, there's season 2.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, those Metal Gear Dark Horse books are really nice. I've got one of them. I don't think I got anything past that one though. You know what? Now that Deathnote. Now that Evangelion, while we're on the topic of art books, now that Evangelion's been released on Netflix, it's probably gaining a bit of popularity, a bit of traction in today's media. I'm willing to bet those. I've got the concept Evangelion books. There were 7 of them. I got all 7 of them, and they were signed. I managed to get them signed by Hideki Anno back in 97. And they're in these really nice wraps. Like, as soon as he signed them, we put them in these wrap things right at the counter. So those are probably worth a pretty penny by now. Hey Ragnar, what's going on, man?
Oh, hello.
Light is on his way. Yeah, Ano is getting quite a bit older. I remember I've met him on a few different occasions at different conventions and such. The first time I met him was extremely different from when I met him the second time, because I met him, well, okay, I should actually give a little history on this. So back when I met him was back in 95 and then in 99. And the anime, you know, back then it was Japanimation and all, was extremely low key. So you could actually meet like a creator. Like we were able to meet Hideki. Like there were so few people in line to meet him. We were able to have a round table with him, and we just sat and talked with him like he was at a booth in the dealer room, and you could go chat with him for as long as you wanted. Like anyone could just walk up to him and talk to him. Hey, no problem, Ragna. Full Metal Alchemist, was it your first time watching it? You've watched it. Are we talking Full Metal Alchemist or Brotherhood? Oh, but yeah, the first time I ever met Ano, you could tell it was when he was in his darker years. He was really not feeling life. It was when he wrote Eva, pretty much. And then, what was it? There's, the second time I met him, he was actually really, that was after life had turned around for him. After he'd write, what did he write? It was, His and Her Circumstances, that was it. And he was like a completely different person at that point. Oh, the solid gold edition of Persona 4G. Hey, what's up, audio?
Hello.
Do you still need this?
Oh no, you're good.
Okay. She's just letting me sit here and keep holding this Mass Effect case. And I look up and it's like, that looks pretty done. Do you need my hand?
For better or worse, that's all I'm doing on my hand.
I can't listen to this music without this particular one. All it invokes is him writing names down.
Yep.
Doing the threatening gestures. No scene of anyone writing has ever been more threatening.
I wish I'd had time to do a duty earlier, but I had like 30 minutes to spare and realized I couldn't find my pen.
I was joking with someone on Reddit the other day about how the R in P5R instead of Royal is going to stand for Ryuji. Persona 5 Ryuji, and they're actually going to allow boy bromance.
Is it true?
No, like I said, I was joking with them. It's time to get around to Ryuji. Take him out for the burger eating contest every night. You know what? I bet Ryuji would be funny if in Catherine Full Body, if they were to like take Vincent and add like Ryuji as like a reskin for him. Just have Ryuji running around in his heart boxers, doing puzzles. Yeah, Ragnar, I don't think he just wrote your name, bro. I think he actually, like, drew your picture. He drew a stick figure of you. Ragna.
Luckily, that's not how it works.
I'm actually kind of looking forward to Scramble. It's been a long time since I played a good Dynasty Warrior style game, and I think Persona will be a pretty good theme for it. I've actually been thinking about going back to Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest Warriors. Just had that itch to go around killing hundreds and hundreds of soldiers. Hey, Drelix, how's it going?
Hello.
Good to see you're here. Sasha is Kita. Well, you know what, Ragna? The good thing about her being Kita is you should see her handwriting. It's pretty hard to read, so I don't think Fate would be able to understand what she wrote down and nothing would happen. Man, I love Dynasty Warriors. Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors, man, those are great games. They're just mindless fun. I mean, and the story in them is so ridiculous. It's almost like what Yakuza seems like to me. The impression I get from Yakuza is pretty similar. Like, it's like we're gonna take history and we're gonna make it as crazy and bombastic as possible, and that's just awesome.
I understand how jackets work.
I mean, just throw him in any like rich white boy attire. Really, that's kind of what Light rocked.
He's always wearing like this suit.
Abercrombie and Kita. Chicken Nugget Warriors? What about Pickled Warriors, Ragna? A Rick and Morty Dynasty Warrior style game where you play as Pickle Rick. I saved some pickles just for you, Ragnar. Come on over and grab one. I would buy it, Ragnar. It'd probably go into my backlog, but I'd buy it. How old are these pickles, by the way? Wait, it's a pickle. I don't have to worry about that. I just remember they used to taste sweeter than this. I'm not gonna die by eating these, alright?
I hope not. What you eating questionable pickles for?
Have you read the lid?
Mm-hmm.
The lid for the pictles? Pictles.
The pickles.
The pictles. Pixels. As far as 4th of July rags, we don't really do all that much. I mean, are we doing anything? Probably.
That I know.
We usually go and like do a brisket or something. We'll like barbecue something. Pretty low effort kind of stuff though. You know, throw something out in the smoker that we can just ignore till it's done. And then we'll go like, we usually walk down to the park and they have a pretty cool fireworks show. Pretty simple. We don't, you guys know us, we don't really plan for anything huge. How about you guys? Any 4th of July plans for any of you guys? Do we have any real patriots out there? Oh, gonna work all. Oh, so you're gonna be taking care of the dogs and the cats and the pigs that everyone else is going to be bringing to the kennel so they can go out and light fireworks. Honestly, I'd rather spend my day with animals than that. Yeah, there's actually are you one of the places, Dave, where you actually will let people? Oh wait, that's shelters. You're at a kennel, right? People just drop off animals. I'm pretty sure you couldn't let people in to comfort pets of other people. That'd probably be awkward. Imagine someone coming back to the kennel to pick up their dog, and there's like a whole family of kids petting them. The pig? Oh, so you only had one pig? You gonna work on your alchemy rags? Like, what you gonna have like a? I could just see it now.
I lifted the pen, but
Gunpowder is pretty much modern day alchemy kind of thing, chemistry, but. The way you're turning it makes it look like he's like waving it around. I got the Deathnote, guys. Don't make me mad, I'ma write your name down. Mm-hmm. You gonna bring someone back to life with fireworks? Sounds like a good time. I'm gonna do some alchemy, but all I got's gunpowder. Bringing the dead back to life, we don't do that around here. We don't take kindly to those who do. So, has anyone here not seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood before I mention anything on it? I was going to talk about what I thought was the best part in the whole anime, to me, but it's pretty spoilerific. In my opinion, it's actually one of the most powerful scenes in anime, in my opinion. I'll gladly lose an arm to bring back my goldfish. It turns out your goldfish comes back as literally the snack that smiles back. Goldfish. So, the scene where Roy finally gets his vengeance for Hughes. In my opinion, that's one of the most powerful scenes in anime. Because, like, if you watch as every time he snaps his fingers, like, the expression on his face just becomes more and more heavily relatable to the viewer, in my opinion. Like, because the audience by this point is really, really mad. Everyone wants vengeance for Hughes, exactly like Roy does. And when he finally gets it, he doesn't back off of it, you know, like so many anime or hero, any kind of literature where they get their chance for revenge, and they're like, they go through this, they have this little epiphany, and it's like, you know what, I'm not gonna stoop to your level, yada yada yada. No, Roy straight up gets the best damn revenge that you will ever frickin' see. And every time he snaps his fingers, you can see his face just twisting more and more, like the anger just coming out in the animation and the art. Just like the choreography of it, everything. That scene will, like, no pun intended, it burned itself into my mind. One of the best scenes ever. He did not hold back whatsoever. Like, that was probably one of the most human scenes ever done in an anime. Didn't go with that whole, oh, we can't stoop to his level. Let him go. Be the better person. Take the high road. No, it was, this is a witch hunt, and the stake has been planted. It's time to burn this here witch. And it went down. Yeah, let's go ahead and keep that pun. I'll say it wasn't intended, because I don't think I'll ever be able to forget that scene. Because, you know, when you watch a lot of shows, you watch a lot of anime, any kind of media really, you watch just a ton of it, you consume a lot of media. A lot of it tends to kind of be water under the bridge after it happens. You've seen the same scene, the same moe, the same tropes, the same cliches come and go. Everything happens, and then, like, it's out of your mind as soon as it happens. There's very few times where you actually get to see something so impactful that it sticks with you after the fact. And Full Metal actually had a lot of those kind of scenes. Sometimes Twitch needs a little, I don't know, it needs to be reset. Twitch can be a little dumb sometimes. Remember when Sasha destroyed Ed with all her biceps? Oh, Ed and all with her biceps.
In his entirety?
We're just gonna put Ed right here in that little spot.
What was he doing with my biceps anyway?
And just squish. Yeah, Wit Studio, when it comes to actual real, like, dramatic moments and music, holy crap. The Sawano with Wit is just crazy. And you know it's gonna go, you know it's really gonna go down anytime you're watching something with Wit, because you start hearing the build-up, the Sawano music starts ramping up, and as soon as you hear it in the background, it's like, oh crap, I hear lyrics. You start hearing lyrics in anything Wit does, and yeah, it's about to get crazy. A lot of people didn't like Guilty Crown. I mean, I get that it had an incredible amount of talent behind it. Like, they had pretty much all the big names you could think of. But I enjoyed Guilty Crown. It wasn't the best anime, but I mean, I still liked it. Recreators was a really surprising one, Dave. I didn't expect it to go anywhere. I just started watching it because I was like, I was out of series to watch, and I was like, what's this one? I think it was on like Amazon Prime too. It was on one of the obscure ones, and I just decided to give it a shot, and I was glued to it all the way through. I binged the crap out of it. Guilty Crown, it's a bit of a slow burn. I'd say the first 7 episodes are kind of up and down, but toward the end, it ramped up pretty good. Like I said, it wasn't the best one, but I found it entertaining. Anime Strike, that's what it was, yeah. Anime Strike was such a mistake. Good old Hamtaro. Hamtaro and Samurai Pizza Cats. Inuyashiki was one that we slept on for quite a while. We didn't actually know it was there. I didn't realize. I was waiting on it when I first saw it airing in Japan. I was like, that one looks really cool. I'm gonna wait on it though, because it's by the same studio. Gonzo. What is their new studio name? I can't remember. They used to be Gonzo back in the old Gantz days. When Pioneer was still around. Yeah, Studio Mappa, that's them. And as soon as I saw them, though, I was like, man, I gotta see that one. And then I forgot about it, didn't realize they even brought it over, because it was over there, not on Crunchyroll or any others. And then when we got around to it, it's like, man, this is a real... They always do good work. Dead Man Wonderland was actually pretty good. I actually watched it after I read it, though. Dead Man Wonderland didn't give itself nearly... The anime didn't do... it was kind of like Batum. If you guys have ever seen Batum, that's the one where it's basically Fortnite. They have a whole bunch of people get dropped off on an island, and they all have different types of grenades, and their whole thing is to be the last man standing. They all have to go and hunt each other down. Batum as a manga was actually quite good. The anime was not done right. They cut it way short. And it's the same with Dead Man Wonderland, though. It was a much better manga than it was an anime. Yeah, the ending for the anime sucked, Ragna, because that wasn't the end at all. It goes on beyond that, of course. Yeah, I love Madhouse, but they are really, really bad about being like, hey, let's do this project. And then as soon as they're done with it, they're like, okay, goodbye. Next project, we don't go back. We don't finish things. We just make them, start them. They're so awesome, and then we leave them. Now, I gotta say, I've always loved Studio Ufotable. Is fantastic, but I think they've always done a great job with Fate, especially Unlimited Blade Works. But holy crap, Demon Hunter or Demon Slayer is proving out to be a really, really good one. I love the And actually, Rags, I thought about doing Hunter x Hunter. I'll have to admit, it's one of the main. I tend to not do a lot of the mainstream long-running anime, and Hunter x Hunter was one that I avoided. But I've been thinking about watching it because it's not ridiculously long, and it does look really cool. I love the character designs in it. But the animation in Demon Slayer is phenomenal. Like, if you watch Demon Slayer or most anything that Ufotable does that has a budget, and you just kind of wonder, what are the other studios doing? What are you guys even doing? Ufotable just puts them down. Like, they take other studios out to behind the shack and old yeller them as far as quality goes.
Yeah, especially when it comes to CG.
Or Demon Slayer, my bad. We haven't finished One Punch Man, Demon Slayer, or what did I just say? One Punch Man, Demon Slayer. I didn't get much sleep last night, guys. I'm going to throw that out there for you right now. Okay, but Season 2. One Punch Man Season 2. We're pretty far in it. We haven't finished it quite yet. Yeah, I've heard Ufotable actually has good work practices for an animation studio. And you can tell there's a lot of TLC in their animation. Like, it looks so good. Even the CG stuff looks fantastic.
That's what happens when you don't suck the life out of your animators. They do good work.
Well, if you look, Ufotable doesn't even release an anime every season either. Like, you look at Wit generally has they take long hiatuses to work on all their. It's not hiatuses, but like A1, yeah, A1, AAA. Those guys, they have like several anime per season. So their dudes have got to be crazy overworked.
You gonna get back in the cat cam, Milo?
Actually, Rags, have you ever seen Land of the Lustrous? When it comes to CG, if every studio could do CG as well as Ufotable, and I can't remember what studio did Land of the Lustrous? Was it White Fox?
I don't remember.
But Land of the Lustrous and Babuki Baranki, those two, as well as Ajin was pretty good as far as the CG, because they were all, cel shaded. Those three, I think, are good examples of it. That's a good question, Rags. We do need Golden Kamuy Season 3. Milo wants to say hi to everyone. What's up, bud? You gonna go sit in the cat cam area for again? My English.
Oh no, we're gonna jump on the keyboard. Oh, Milo. Oh, and he's gonna jump over the Tower of Games and sit where he's not supposed to. He's on a roll.
So Golden Kamuy is one that we slept on that one too for a long time, till like 3/4 into Season 2, and we did not know what we were missing. We had gotten to the point where we had no other shows to watch, and we were like, I saw it and I was like, the art style on this one seems really odd, but interesting at the same time. Let's check it out.
Yeah, there was something about like the cover picture that they chose that made it look bad.
They chose like nothing but bad thumbnails.
That too, yeah.
Like, all the thumbnails make the art in Golden Kamuy look so bad. Yeah, it's like an action cooking show. And audio, Spirits Within. I saw it in theaters back when it came out. It was in theaters for like 2 weeks. And yeah. It wasn't the worst. But I don't think it was Final Fantasy. It was an entertaining movie for what it was, but I don't think it should have been called Final Fantasy. Dr. Stone is like... Isn't it this week? That and Fire Force start this week. Yeah, Rags? I'm really looking
Yeah,
forward to
so-
Fire Force.
Oh yeah.
Soul Eater is one of my top anime of all time. I can't wait for Fire Force. Toothy Grins, no one can do them better. Did it? I thought it started airing at the same day as because there's a preview on the streaming sites for Fire Force, but there's not a prologue? Unless it came out between the last time I checked and now.
Yeah, it has been a few days since we looked.
I'll have to go
It's
take a
too
look.
dark.
Yeah, Soul Eater's ending. How are we gonna beat this guy? We're just gonna punch him.
Punch.
It would be funny if the ending of Soul Eater was what inspired One Punch Man. One Punch Maka.
Out of town or out of town.
Out of town.
time.
It's like,
One Punch.
sound like you're getting sleepy too.
Oh, absolutely.
What am I doing?
Whatever you want.
Hey, look, his skin's bleeding onto his collar. Oh yeah, I remember you saying that, Dave, that you're a binger. I'm a binger as well, but I have gotten pretty used to watching, like, every time we usually watch shows when we eat every night, or if we have a few minutes to kill something, we're waiting on, whatever, we'll watch something. So, we've gotten into watching all the new stuff. Yeah, we finished it, Rags. I actually liked the way they handled Mob Psycho storyline. I thought it was just the right amount of serious, the right amount of funny, and they actually gave closure, which I enjoyed. Oh, Sasha will be right back. She had to step out. Yeah, there is a lot of fluff out there nowadays, Dave. There's a lot of tropey stuff. Very cliches. Very cliched stuff rolling around. There's a lot of trash. Basket. Nothing better to get invested in than basket anime, right? Invest your feelings into the basket. Some of the sports shows can actually be pretty good. Haikyuu was good. I enjoyed, what was it called? Eye Shield?
Take a flashlight. I don't know how I didn't die.
I always thought that with like the card games or something that it'd be funny if they decided to go full contact sport with that. If any of them were just like, you know what? Screw the cards. I'm just going to come over there and just beat the crap out of you. And then I'm going to steal your cards. The new Fruits Basket, Sash has been watching it.
Yeah, I watched that when I was a lot younger, so it's very nostalgic. And I think they did a really good job with it. They have so far.
You know what anime I would love to see make a comeback and get a remake would be the Guyver. I loved Guyver.
Cowboy Bebop's Underground, huh?
Cowboy Bebop? What's that? That sounds like one of them progressive millennial moves got going on out there. New Bebop. I hear cowboy though. That sounds pretty good. I like shooting.
You have the Texans' attention.
Zatchbell would be a pretty good one to come back. And if you look at I think if they did Zatchbell in the same kind of animation style that they did that new one, Gay. If they did it in that kind of style, I think it would do really well. I would just love to see Guyver come back though. I still remember watching the old Guyver movies. The first time I was ever exposed to Guyver was back when they did the live action movies, and somehow I have no idea who in Cinemax what at the time was crazy enough to actually buy the rights to play it. But yeah, they played the live action movies for Guyver on Cinemax back in like the mid 90s. And it was just one of the best things ever. And they were actually really good movies. I mean, the wire fu was really good in them. The costumes were great. And the effects were pretty sweet, too. Well, I don't know if I agree with those two titles, Ragna, but I'm pretty sure they would make money. It looks like you're drawing a glove. Which is good, you know, it's reminiscent of a hand.
Yeah, that's... Hey, take what I can get.
The original Parasite manga. I remember reading the original Parasite manga by accident as a kid. Like 6 years old.
What? No.
I think I told you guys that story already though.
Yeah,
Remember
sounds familiar.
my mom used to go to this store. It's called Texas Drug Warehouse. That's a horrible name to name a place. But it was actually, it doesn't sound like, it wasn't what it sounds like. It was kind of like a mix of Walmart and CVS. It was a big place, it was a department store, basically. They had everything. And they always had these comic book, like big, it was just a little box, and it was like 3 random comic books. It was always something from Marvel, something from DC, and then something from Dark Horse that was actually a manga that was translated and was very, very, very adult. And I don't know why, but it just ended up mixed up into these things. Parasite was one of them. Do any of you happen to remember an old show, an old anime called Dominion Tank Police? It's Shiro Masamune, the creator of Ghost in the Shell. Actually, no Jack Frost, Ragna, but they had Blackjack. But if any of you guys haven't seen Dominion Tank Police, you probably have to go to a pirating website to check it out now. But it was easily one of the most quirky, entertaining anime of all time back then. And it would probably still live up to being interesting today. Why are you flaming me, Rags?
What?
He's having Charizard's flamethrower on me. That's like, that's the worst type of flaming you can do, I think. Because it's so literal.
Way past out. Dropped all his money.
You know, here's a question for you guys. If you guys were a creature or a character in a video game, something where when you got beat up, knocked out, killed, or whatever, you would drop something. You know, like monsters drop stuff in RPGs. If you were something like that and you were dropped in a game, what do you think you would drop? What would your drops be? Me, I would probably drop figures. Figures in video games. I have more pickles, Ragna, if you want more. If you want one.
Many pickles.
Let's see, I got like 3 left. This was a pretty big jar of pickles. Plastic glue 3 Gatorade and a Zippo lighter. Sounds sweet and explosive. You drop my figures because you want to drop your own?
You probably drop coffee.
Coffee? Yeah, you would drop tea for sure.
I've got a mug wherever I go.
You would bleed tea. There'd be some people that, like, it'd be funny, like, you hit someone, they drop, body pillows fly everywhere. Just a rain of body pillows.
There's too much going on in this damn hair.
Rag says audio would drop his Final Fantasy 14 account.
Drop mount whistles. Fat cats. Fat
Yeah,
cat
she
bellies.
would drop fat cats. It'd be nothing but pictures of fat cat bellies. And fat cat videos. Dave would drop the glue because he's always fixing the figures. Mercy hasn't been around in a while. I hope everything's okay with her.
Yeah, I hope so too. I know it's not a good time for her because of the time zone, but hope that's it.
Well, I think she was really busy last summer too. I think the cooking industry kind of blows up in the summertime.
Could be.
Our favorite anime. What would you say is your favorite anime?
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna defer this question to you, so I have a little extra time to think about my answer.
That's like trying to pick a favorite video game. How do you even do that?
Ragnar would drop his opine. Roy would drop fish. Yeah, in Final Fantasy XIV, I would definitely drop fish. My character would die, and it would just be like a flood of fish.
I mean, if the stuff playing this season, probably
Well,
Demon Slayer is.
All time or top 3.
Oh god. Man, that's hard. I mean, Full Metal Alchemist is probably pretty high up there.
Yeah, my top 3 I'd probably have to say Gurren Lagann,
Oh yeah, that's a
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and
Land of the Lustrous was really good. And what's the one Made in Abyss? That's another really good one. As far as like an all-time favorite though, I don't know. Just looking around the room for ideas. What do we have figures of? Those are probably good ones.
I would put Soul Eater up there, but honestly, the ending of an anime really affects my ultimate opinion of it.
I mean, the Vega's probably better.
Yeah. Yeah, my anime list really helps out with keeping up with a lot of things. Promised Neverland was actually really, really good.
Oh yeah, man, the cliffhangers in that were something else. I would be thinking about that anime all the time.
Yeah, after each... Promised Neverland was one of those where after each episode, Sasha and I would have like a 30-minute... We'd spend as much time as we spent watching the episode as we would spend theory crafting afterward.
Yeah, it really makes you do a thing.
Yeah, The Promised Neverland was really, really good. I'd say out of a lot of the newer ones, it's definitely top tier.
Yeah.
I'm a big sucker for ones like, for a good isekai. Like, Slime is really good. I loved Overlord, but I don't know if I could put them in my exact top favorite, though.
RE0 is probably one of my favorite of the isekai. Or that other one that had sort of like a pastel look to it, but it was actually really brutal.
Grimgar?
Yeah, Grimgar was really good.
I like the fact that Promised Neverland actually had like a pleasing, well, I'm not going to say pleasing. It had a satisfying ending. Like, they didn't just drop it out.
It was so dark, I did not expect... I don't want to spoil anything in case anyone's not seen it, but...
I really liked where Goblin Slayer was going in the beginning, Rags, but the fact that it lost its tension over time made me kind of sad. It was still fun to watch, but I think the impact and they came in too hard with the tension and the seriousness in the beginning. So it set the bar really high for the rest of the series. Like it really seemed like it was gonna have some layers to it in the beginning, but then as it went, it was just kind of like, it was a bit of a downward slope for it. Did they ever say Cowgirl's name? I can't get over that. Does she have a name? Do you guys remember Goblin Slayer's other girlfriend, the redheaded one? You know, Cowgirl. Did she have a name?
At first, I wasn't even sure that there were actually cows shown. They did actually show some cows.
I thought they called her Cowgirl because of her opie.
Maybe that was her name.
Like, even if you look at, like, the descriptions, like, on the like, in the streaming sites that showed it, they call her Cowgirl.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't say... I think they might have said his name, maybe.
Oh, man, I expected to hate Konosuba, but the amount of times I've laughed out loud watching that anime, like, it is hysterical.
Yeah, Konosuba is great.
I'm not trying to change the subject, but I just saw that.
Slime is actually really good in my opinion. I can't wait for the next season to start. Yeah, Konosuba was like nothing but ad-libbing. And then it's funny how in Konosuba, like, generally the animation was pretty lax, but like every here and there they like made it just freaking fantastic. But it would almost always be for perverted stuff. Like, you remember the episode where he goes to the succubus bar?
That's not.
And then that night he's in there with darkness in the bathroom. That episode was just like, they really went in on the drawing and the animation. I'm just gonna put that out there. But like for the basic stuff, they like didn't even give a damn about it. They're like, you know what? Our viewers are just gonna be laughing their butts off the whole time. It doesn't matter how good it looks.
I think some of the poor animation adds to the humor. Like, it's like in One Punch when he goes from like serious looking to like just looking like a circle or an egg or something.
Oh yeah, the juxtapositioning of the serious and the not serious.
Mm-hmm.
I've been enjoying the writing in One Punch Man Season 2, but I really, 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 I dearly miss the animation from the first season.
Yeah, it's funny and all, but yeah, the animation makes me want to cry.
Yeah, during the fights, it's a little bit too much. We're just going to take 3 scenes. We're going to take 3 frames and Dragon Ball them together.
Yeah,
And then
I hate that. Oh my god.
like the lighting effects and everything. Now I'll tell you one thing this studio can do is they make metal look really nice. Like metallic surfaces, shiny surfaces.
They do okay, but it doesn't compare. Like when you look at just Gino standing still in the last season and then this season, it's just like night and day. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Disney's such a sad.
Like one of the best fight scenes I think I've ever seen in an anime was you guys remember in season 1 where Saitama has that dream? You think he's actually really having to fight for his life. Those dudes come out of the earth and he's fighting them just outside of his apartment. They like destroy his whole neighborhood and he's like actually having to get serious against them. That was a wicked scene. Yeah, when he's just like, man, he goes like out onto the highway and he's like in his pajamas and he's just surrounded by these dudes and he's just having to get actual serious with them. Like, that was really cool. It was like a quick 12 episode run. I think the same studio did it as well. trying to remember the name of it. It was actually about another. It was about a similar to Psycho, Mob Psycho. Just the story wasn't nearly as deep. But the main character, I loved him. He's this silver-haired dude. He had psychic powers. He was extremely overpowered. What was it called? He took down an attack chopper with a popsicle stick in like the first 5 minutes. It even, like, the title of it even puts emphasis on how powerful he is. Oh yeah, that's pretty much me whenever someone compliments me too, Dave. I don't know what to do with compliments. I get them and it's like, so what's the price for that compliment?
I'm the
What's your
worst.
game?
I'm just like, you're wrong. And this is why.
What was the name of that freaking anime? It was a good one. It was a fun one to watch. Just about a super overpowered psychic first main character, and yeah, right. What are you trying to sell me? Is this candid camera? Is there someone nearby? Ragna, don't make me ban you, dude. I'm just kidding. I would never ban you. You're like one of our founders. But that's usually kind of my general reaction to compliments. No, blacklist. You're evil. You've got ulterior motives. You're still thinking about my collector's edition Jack Frost for Raido and the Army of Darkness, or the Demon Army. Is that the color? I thought his suits were white.
His shirts are white, but his suits are like khaki.
I haven't watched Deathnote in a long time. Oh, hey, Ray Flay, I just noticed you in there. Welcome to chat. White scriptfish. No, I actually just hit level 80 today. But, unfortunately, I've been fishing instead of making progress in the main story quest. So I'm having to grind my actual combat job warrior up and trying to get through the main story because I can't get to all the better fishing holes. Hopefully by tomorrow, I will actually be able to update some things. I don't recognize your name though, Rayflay. If you are new to the chat, welcome. We do this every Tuesday. Just do a little bit of art, whatever folks request, that kind of thing. I haven't seen the Deathnote live action on Netflix. Are you being serious, Rags?
It's amazing in a way, I guess.
Oh, you've seen it?
I haven't seen it. I've just seen clips.
I mean, there are every here and there are like actually good anime live action stuff. Alita was one of the more recent examples. I enjoyed the heck out of Alita.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Okay, you are. I figured you were just being sarcastic. Well, sweet, Ray. Well, I mean, if you like streams, we do this every Tuesday. Sometimes we stream other stuff, but back and forth. And yeah, we are actually a pair on the channel. I've been doing the fishing videos on my own because usually I do them in the morning when I'm kind of the only person awake, and the fishing videos are really simple and kind of quick. But, yep, usually there's the two of us doing.
I don't know what I would add to them anyway.
Well, when it comes to videos for that kind of thing, where it's just like a quick tutorial, it seems like the faster you can do it, the more efficiently, the better. So having two folks doing them would just kind of extend it.
I haven't even touched my fish around 14 yet anyway. I mean, not in the expansion.
So it's not good, but it isn't trash. Honestly, I'd say as far as like anime stuff turned into live action, that's actually kind of a good place for them to be, is that middle ground. I'm trying to think of any live action animes like adaptations that have actually been any good. Like, I mean, like really good, like phenomenal. I actually never watched the Full Metal Alchemist one because I love Full Metal, and I don't want to see it destroyed. So, I think Go ahead.
Those wigs that they were using look pretty low budget. Like, what the crap?
You would think that Japan, being a country that is on the bleeding edge of technology, they have all the CG and the technology and everything, the software to make cutscenes and movies as good as Hollywood, but they don't. Like, I don't know, it's like they get too quirky with it and it just ends up kind of off. Which actually, it makes me sad because when it comes to horror, like scary things, I honestly think that Japanese horror is some of the best. Like, their legends, their urban legends, their ghosts, their designs, their thoughts. Like, you get into Western stuff, and we can take their ideas and turn them into truly horrific things. Like, if Hollywood were to ever actually put their nose to the grindstone and do like a Junji Ito movie, I think it would be one of the scariest things ever, because Junji Ito has like some of the most like horrific designs as far as things. But if any Japanese movie studio were to do a Junji Ito film like they have, I just can't recommend it. As far as where you can see the Full Metal Alchemist, Rags, that's Netflix, isn't it?
I think I watched it on Crunchyroll, if that helps.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is, Dave. It's really like they don't have any budget at all. Like, we're just going to throw this straight to Blu-ray and DVD, and that's it. That's all you get. Like, most Western TV shows now have better quality than, like, their actual films. Yeah, the page turner is a big thing with Junji Ito. Maybe if they were to do it like... Do any of you guys remember an old set of horror shows? Well, there were more movies that were like shows. Creep Show. Creep Show, and it was... There were movies that were actually built. They were like, they basically took comics. They were like comic strips of horror stories, and they turned them into real like skits, like real little. They were little stories, like maybe 15, 20-minute long stories, all jammed together to become a movie. If they did it something like that, maybe. Alrighty, Dave. Thanks for dropping by, man. We'll see you next week. Take it easy and have a good week. But I think if they did it something like maybe like that, or maybe something more like episodic, kind of like Tales from the Crypt, something like that. Oh yeah, happy 4th of July to you too. I keep forgetting the 4th is right around the corner. Well, it looks like Light's coming together.
Sort of.
You're right, he does
So-
have the khaki suit. How did I forget that?
He's forgettable.
Light's forgettable?
His outfits are.
Oh, I was gonna say, as far as his fashion sense, yeah, but Light as the character, I'd say was
Yeah,
was
he's
pretty dang well written. Like, Light was fascinating to watch. Just because it's because he's the villain. Well,
Yeah.
and yeah, he was bad. But like, just watching him is just fascinating. Deathnote was one of the first shows I ever really got into because the main character was a villain.
Yeah, when I first started reading it, it's like, oh, it's kind of got the right idea, but then like, no.
No, his power corrupted him.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you really think about it, I mean, how could you not end up corrupted when you have the power of a god to kill anyone? And then once he started backing himself into a corner, it just gets incredibly interesting, especially when it came to L. This is one of the more iconic themes for the series. I could just I can picture it in my head now. Light laughing, and then all of a sudden there's 100 faces of Light on the screen.
Yeah, I love this intro. It was so good.
I think when most people think of Deathnote, they probably think about this theme.
I remember how they translated this. They did it wrong.
The screaming, like the wow, is like one of the best things ever. That. And then at the end, like after he's done screaming here, you can tell that he put his all into it because he's like hacking and coughing and dying.
Yeah, if you watch or if you listen to the full version.
Hey, Pororo, how's it going? Requests. Yeah, we actually do requests. What you got?
I'll write this down so I don't forget. I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah, depending on what you have and what we've got in front of you, depending on the requests, it could take a couple of weeks. Just depends. Petty the Penguin. Let's see. Oh, we've got Devilman now.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, Petty would be pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I should have actually your name Pororo. I was makes a whole lot of sense. Oh, let's see. I think Petty would be like right up your alley, honestly, as far as things you like to draw.
Yeah, it's super cute.
Yeah, we can throw that one into the list for sure, Paroto. So is this your first time in the chat with us or the stream with us, Paroto? The dress one. Let me see if I can find that one here real quick. Oh, I see the dress. Yeah. The it's like a pink dress. There it is. Yeah, it's got a little flower. She's got the mitts on. Is it purple? Am I being colorblind? Oh yeah, it is kind of purple, huh? I saw some fan art here right away, and they had a. Their stuff looks more pink, but yeah, it looks like the official art. It is purple. Oh, you're a longtime subscriber. Well then, welcome. Well, it's good to talk to you then, at least. Oh, let me bring the chat back up. Yeah, that one looks like it'll actually be pretty fun for Sash. She likes drawing different anything animals, cute animals. I was thinking the Deathnote was missing something when you drew it, and then I was like, I couldn't put my finger on it. It shouldn't be that long, actually, Pororo. I've got to look. We've got to take a look at what other requests we have. Can you remember off the top of your head what we have going right now?
This one may have been the last one on the queue.
I would say probably either next week or the week after. I don't think it'll be a long wait though, because it's not a really complex one. So I mean, we can definitely squeeze it into one sitting.
Yeah, I don't think I've got anything. Not on the Discord anyway. So I hope I'm not forgetting anyone.
So yeah, check back with us next week, Proto, and the week after if it's not next week. But
yeah, I think it's gonna be next week.
Yeah, I think we can probably do it next week. Our soundtrack has begun veering into everything else.
Ran out of Deathnote.
It looks like Deathnote's full soundtrack was about an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. It's actually a pretty long soundtrack considering, because it was, what, a 26 episode series? No, it was 50, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 50.
50 some episodes?
I can't remember, it's been so long.
I'm thinking it was around the length of like Full Metal and Soul Eater, and those are 50-minute episodes.
Looking at the computer screen, it like elongates the picture. It's shorter here, and it's weirding me out.
Well, now that you've gotten this far with him, what about the cat?
Yep, the cat.
Oh, Peroto, we actually like to throw, actually, if you watch us all the time, you know, we like to throw cats into all of our pictures because of our message, Adopt a Cat. Are there any cats that you would like us to draw along with Petty? I see there's a fox, is that an alligator? Polar bear. There's a bear. I don't see a cat in this series. If nothing else, though, we'd always just throw in a random design of a cat.
Puppy cat.
Puppy cat. Hey, Ned, how's it going?
Hello.
Good to see you. How have you been, Ned? You had a good week? Any plans for 4th of July coming up? I think Puppy Cat would be like definitely something up your alley as far as drawing.
Oh yeah, I love Puppy Cat. I mean, I don't actually know any of the stuff. Like, I haven't seen the show that they're from. I just really like the design. It's cute.
I like from Puppy Cat it's the blue or purple cat that has like the ladybug cape. I like that one. You found motivation to animate, Ned. Did you get a software for it, or are you like drawing each of the images together and like doing like kind of a Google thing where they just put them together? No worries, Ned. I mean, we're probably not going to be going too much longer, but no worries, Ned. I mean, if you got stuff that you're working on, you don't have to be here like right off the bat. We appreciate you just showing up at all. And it's going crazy on the Full Metal Alchemist. Flip a clip? Oh, I've seen that one. I haven't actually used it myself, but I've seen it. It's funny, because my phone is a Google Pixel, the Google Assistant for photos is actually pretty dang handy. So what I like to do is I like to take pictures with my figures, and I'll kind of throw a whole bunch of them back to back, change the poses just a little bit, kind of like stop motion animation, and then go to the pictures, and if you go to Google, you can just tell it to animate, and you select all the pictures you want in the animation, and it'll just throw it together, and boom, you get like stop animation. Yeah, it'd be nice to get to talk to you a little bit more, Ned. Trying to think. We try to start around the same time every Tuesday, though. We're usually late. Between 7:30 and 8 Central Standard Time, if that's a good time for you. I'd love to actually do more streams. It's just in the summertime. It's really hard for us to do streams in the summer because our central air conditioning went out and it's extremely expensive to fix it. So we actually just through some window units in our game room here. And with the PlayStations and the computer, it gets really, really hot in here. And if we were to actually try and air condition the room to a point where we could survive for long streams, you guys probably wouldn't be able to hear us at all. It sounds like a wind tunnel in here. In the winter, however, wintertime we'll be doing more streams for sure because, you know, we won't melt. It like went straight to all Full Metal Alchemist, which is good music, but it's mismatching. We already listened through all the soundtrack for Deathnote, though. Are you doing a cat that is gonna be like a cat version of Ryuk?
Yep.
Ah. So you're gonna have the fur or the feathers around the collar?
Yep. I'm gonna add some highlights because they're kind of...
You're gonna give him like a creepy white face?
I think I'm just gonna give him eyes.
Just eyes? Oh, his creepy eyes? Hey, thanks for dropping by, Dralex. We'll see you next time. Appreciate you coming in. Have a good evening. Actually, a happy 4th to you, too. I keep forgetting it.
If you're in the States, I forget.
Oh, yes, if you're in the States. I always forget that not everyone is. Good night, human. Good night. So, are you kitty? Or are you kitty? Are you cat? Are you cat? You gotta have the creepy smile if you're gonna have him be Ryu. Or actually, that would make it a she.
What?
Wait, was Ryuk a she?
No, I think Ryuk was a dude. I think it was Ram that was female.
Actually, yes, Pororo, we just saw Far From Home today. Don't want to spoil it though for anyone else that might have not, because I think it just came out today, officially. But I liked it. It was a good movie. Oh, you got a squishy dinosaur, like a plushie? And what dinosaur we talking about? We talking about a raptor, T-Rex, Brachiosaurus? No, we didn't get Mario Maker 2. I hate to say that I'm not very creative when it comes to making levels for stuff. I like building things, but when it comes to that kind of thing, like making the levels, I think I would probably be busy messing around on other people's levels more than like actually making my own. Although I really liked Little Big Planet. Oh, you finished it, Audio? So it was good, huh? I hope it picks up, because right now I'm at the point where you're on the railroad track in Kalusha, And it's kind of dull right now, but I figure it's just a lull in the story.
Yeah, the part with the train tracks is a little meh, but everything else has been fantastic.
Is it one of those squishy ones that's not like a plush, but like one of those like super elastic rubber dinosaurs? Because Sash can attest to the fact that anytime we're like in a gift store or a toy store, when we come across those kinds of things, I'm all over them. I'll just grab them and stretch the crap out of them, squish them, make them make funny faces. The cat's eyes. Definitely gotta do that smile. Oh, send a picture on Discord? Alrighty. How did I forget Discord? Discord is instant communication.
Maybe I'll put the last person back.
Is the last fight harder than Shinryu from Stormblood? I thought Shinryu was a pretty ridiculous fight, considering it was a story fight. Yeah, I think it went to an almost entirely Full Metal Alchemist soundtrack. It's like, if you like Deathnote, you'll like this. And it ain't lying.
It's got googly eyes.
I think it looks good. Maybe you should do a series where you just draw a whole bunch of different, like, pivotal or iconic anime characters or video game characters as cats.
Could be fun.
Final Fantasy VII. It did get its own anime, didn't it? It didn't cover the main game. It covered more of the, like, Sephiroth side of the story. But if I remember correctly, it had an anime a while back. There was actually a really good, in my opinion, a really good Final Fantasy anime, like, a long time back. It was like 15 years ago. But the main character was really similar to Vincent, and he had a gun that mixed elemental rounds. He could summon, like, he summoned Eidolons that way with his gun. Oh yeah, that does look like one of those really squished dinosaurs.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah,
It's like if gummy bears were dinosaurs.
yeah, I could see. That's one of those where I just go up and just you can't help yourself but to grab it, and the first thing you do is like just test the elasticity of it. Just squish, make its head like. Oh yeah, we only have a pet pics, art, and memes section. We should have like a section for just pictures. Just not related to anything kind of pictures. Just like I felt like posting this.
Yeah, I tend to put that kind of stuff in like memes.
Yeah, that's where Ned put it.
Memes is like miscellaneous.
Yeah, miscellaneous pics. That'd be a good one. Have to make a spot for it. A Discord expansion.
Discord Extreme. Adopt a car.
Oh yeah, Proto, we will. It should be next week that we get around to it. Since Petty's a pretty simple picture, probably do her and maybe throw in. We'll throw in a cat like always. From what I hear, audio, a lot of people are saying that Final Fantasy XIV's expansion is way better than the WoW update because Blizzard's been like corporatizing WoW for so long that everyone's pretty much tired of it. Like they're not showing World of Warcraft the TLC that they used to. Meanwhile, Yoshi P goes out on every single PR run that Final Fantasy XIV has and spends like he's answered hundreds of interview questions.
Even really dumb ones.
$999. Oh, it's another one of these guys, huh? The SCPs.
What happened to my team?
SCP-999. Let me see if I can find an actual image. There's not an image on that one. Oh, there he is. He's a slime.
That's so cute.
He's a gurgly, happy slime. He looks happy anyway.
I wish I could write.
I've always liked slimes. I know a lot of people think that they're boring. They're like some of the most drab and basic of monsters in like fantasy storylines and such, but I've always liked slimes.
I like bunnies. Bunny, bunny.
Oh yeah, a purple dress on Petty. Yeah, hopefully we'll be getting to the end of the main story quest by like tomorrow or something.
Yeah, I might get on tonight, but I'm not sure yet. 'Cause I got a lot of jobs tomorrow. I get up early and I'm sleepy.
Man, I've actually been having some withdrawals for Slime Rancher. I haven't played it in over a month, and kind of. They're bringing out an expansion here pretty soon. I think like middle of July. They're adding the lab of your uncle, like Uncle something's lab. And they're supposed to have a few new slimes. They also have a Slime Rancher VR that I downloaded because it's free, but I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet. I should play it and stream it, except it's VR and it's hot summer nights. I would die. Oh. I just realized Light looks pretty done.
Yeah, I think I've done enough damage.
I like the way your Ryuk came out.
Anyone that sees this stuff that doesn't watch the streams is probably so confused.
Your comment? Oh, about the hat? Yeah, Peroto. I didn't see any pictures where she didn't have it. Alrighty, Ned. Thank you for dropping by. We'll see you next week. Have a happy 4th to you too. I think we're just about done here anyway, so.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I like where you put the signature on his suit.
Some liven it up.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do it next week, Peroto. Like I said, Tuesday between 7:30 and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time is when we should be starting up. Good night, Ned. Take it easy and sleep well.
Night, night, Ned.
Have fun with $9.99. Alrighty, we got this cat here, and the eyes have like, you put the cracks? He
Or
looks
maybe a
funny.
little too fine. It's kind of hard to see him.
No, I think you can see him pretty good. I'm just pretty tired, so I'm having trouble seeing anything right now, so I think it's a good time to go ahead and call it on this one.
Yeah.
Well, alright, Rags, there's your Light Yagami. And Ryuk the cat. Ryu Kitty.
Bonus read.
But yep, I think we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. And Peroto, next Tuesday for your Petty the Penguin. Well, alrighty, guys. We will see you next time. Thank you guys for dropping by the stream. Thanks for chatting with us, and we will see you on the next one. We love you guys, and for anyone who is watching this after the fact, we love you guys as well. And if you're new to the channel, likes and subs are appreciated, but completely up to you. However, if you like cats and video games, give it some thought. As far as what we ask for around here is, if it's within your means, consider adopting or rescuing an animal. ASPCA.org, petfinder.com. You can also Google local animal rescue and adoption options near you. If you can't bring one home due to allergies, living conditions, what have you, there's other ways you can show your love. What are some of those?
You can also go volunteer and still spend time with the guys, or you can donate money, old blankets, clothes. They can use all that kind of stuff.
Yep, so if you've got love to give, there's plenty of animals out there who could use that love. Plenty of ways to show it. And speaking of love, we love you guys. Remember, buy your fun, not your fam. Adopt, don't shop. And we'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, everybody.
Night, night.